Hey guys, hopefully everything is sounding good, everything is working. You guys let me know if you can't hear anything. I'm going to go ahead and play the intro and then we will get started. Okay, thank you for that sound check, Jamie. I appreciate it. Today, our design space lesson, we are going to learn to design a card from scratch. Now, I do, for all my Ko-fi and Patreon supporters, thank you for your support. I did put this file over in the Crafting with April. Let's see, it's on the exclusive tab, so you guys should have that. If you're on Patreon, if you look in your personal messages from me, you will find the password for the month of January. And if you are on Ko-fi, if you look, there is a post open only to monthly supporters, and you will find the password in that calendar post so that you can access it. For all the rest of you guys, and all my supporters, we're going to show you how to walk through with a blank canvas and come up with a card, because I did not have a card. This is not a make it now project, and I wanted to keep it simple but add some elements to it so that you guys could learn to use your score lines, and if you have a maker you might want to change some of these to perforation lines, but it's something for everybody so that you can create cards. And again, I used a birthday theme on this. You can use any theme that you want, any images that you want. They'll all work. We're just going to make the actual card base so that you can do that and pull and show you how to search and pull in some images. So this is what I call a peekaboo card. And I have Today Is Your Day, and I use my pen to write on it. And then we have the balloons. And this is a layered image so that I can show you guys how to layer up your images, and I embellished it a little bit. And it's attached here at the back so that they can fold it open, and then we have another image in here and it says eat cake. And I did use some of my Nuvo drops in there, and we'll cover that when we go to put our card together. And then on the inside I also had some more writing on the inside and used some of my extras, which I'll show you when we do this file, on the inside of the card. So let's go over to Design Space, and as usual, if you have any questions whatsoever, guys, do not hesitate to ask. Put your questions in caps, and one of the moderators will help you and assist you, and if you don't get what they're telling you, then we can show you on screen as well. So let's pop over there. And so since we're making a card, we're starting from a blank canvas rather than a make it now project. And we are going to go in, and the first thing that you're going to do when you start to build your card base, and you can set these up and have these and then just do save as, and we're going to cover that so that you can skip some of these steps sometimes, but once you get used to doing them, you really won't need it because it's just so quick to set up your bases. So the first thing you're going to do is go to Shapes from your new project and select a square. And you can go ahead and get your score line now, or you can come back and get it. It's totally up to you, and I'm just going to grab mine now. And so the first thing I need to do is do my card base, which is the white folded piece that you saw on my card. So I'm going to change this to white. And I am going to change my canvas to a color so that you guys can see some of these elements on here. I'm just going to go with maybe a gray, and I'm going to turn my grid to just a 1-inch grid. We don't need all of those centimeters. I mean, quarter inches, not centimeters. So I've got my card here. I've got it set on white, and I am going to change the size of that to a 5x7. Now when I come up here to size, up here in the toolbar, you can see right under Untitled, it is going to come in at 3.111. That's the default size. You want to unlock it, and then you're going to make it 10 inches wide. And we're making it 10 inches wide because it's a 5x7 card. So when we fold it in half, it will be 5 inches. So you want to double that number. We can't double the 7 because that will make it 14, and then you'll need longer paper instead of the 12x12. So we're just going to make it 5x7. And this is what I call the book fold, 5x7. And then we're going to take our score line and we're going to change it to 7 inches because the height of our card is 7 inches. And we're going to select them both. We're going to align and we're going to center. Then you're going to attach it. So now it's there. If you want your card to open the other way rather than a book fold, all you're going to do is go up to rotate and do 90 degrees. And now you have your book fold where the top here will fold down to the bottom. Super easy, super simple. And now at this point, if you want to save it as a 5x7, oops, I don't want to rotate. Let's put 0. If you want to save it at this point, you can do a save as, and then name this my 5x7 base. But however you want to do that, whatever size you're making. And then you can skip those steps the next time you need to make a card. You can just pull this up, and then when you pull it up, let me see, you can come here, do a save as, save your card. Your 5x7 base will always be there, and you can start working in your project. So that's just a little tip, totally up to you, especially with complicated designs. Sometimes you want to do that. You don't want to change your original, but you want to maybe change some elements of it. Just do your save as, because you cannot copy and paste into another project, and you cannot combine two projects any other way. At this time, don't know if they're ever going to change that, but at this time you cannot. So I did that, and then on my card I had a panel. And I made my panel a little bit smaller than I normally do for this card, just because I wanted a bigger white border on it because it was a peekaboo card. So instead of making my panel, my front panel, a 1/4 inch smaller, I'm going to make it a 1/2 inch smaller. So I'm going to grab another shape, and I made this one pink. I cut this one out of pink, pink colored cardstock. So, and everything I used tonight was Cricut cardstock, guys. Just in case you're wondering. And I'm just going to stretch that out, just get it there, but you want to unlock it, come up, and I'm going to make this 4.5 inches because that's a 1/2 inch smaller than what my card will be when it's folded. And then I'm going to make this 6.5 inches. And then we're going to lock, oops, I hit my mouse, 6.5. And then we're going to lock that back. So now when I put it on the card, I should have a good size border all the way around my card. This is going to be the inside of your card, just so you know. And because we can't place this on the other side, you won't be able to see it, which is where it will be glued. We're just going to sit it here for now. I'm going to duplicate that one again. And now this is my peekaboo piece, and I want it to be about a 1/4 inch smaller. So I'm going to go in and do this one at 4.25 by unlocking it by 6.25. And I'm going to lock that back, and I'm going to change the color of it. And this one I had a teal color. So now we have our little teal colored window there. But how did I get that peekaboo in there that cut without it cutting on the other side? So I'm just going to group all of this, and we're just going to slide it down out of the way for the time being. We're going to come in here and we're going to get shapes, and I'm going to get 3 score lines. Actually, I don't need but 2. 2 score lines and a circle. Because let me pop back over and show you guys. On the card here, you can see that I have this cut line, and then I have a half cut, and then this is cut. And then this side is not cut. Now when we do these, let me go back over. When you do these, you can get that shape right here simply by going, let me ungroup, arrange and move that to the back. You can size it down to whatever size that you want that little rounded piece to be. Move it to the front. There we go. And I'm going to say that I made that about a 1/2 inch. I'm not going to swear to it, but I believe I may just measure it because I'm not 100% positive. Actually, I made it 1 inch, so that would have been too small. So we're going to size our circle to 1 inch. All right, and then we're just going to bring it, and what I'm doing here is I want to line it up on this edge of the card right here. If I was just doing this for just a shape, you could do that. But because I have my cut lines inside that outside line, that's not going to work for us. That doesn't work, okay? So I need that half cut to be back here. There's no way I can do that and get it and make it work for me. So how did I do that? What I did is I took that circle and I duplicated it after I had the size right, and I made this like 0.90 smaller. So, or oops, I made that 190, 0.90. I just saved a 1/10 off of it is what I did, just to make it a little bit smaller. And I actually want to bump that up to maybe, you can see when you look at it how wide that is. I don't really want it that wide because we don't have a curved line in Design Space. These, I can come up here and I can change the line type to cut and get a straight cut line, but I can't get that curved cut line to put on the inside portion of this card. So I'm just going to bump this up until I get it where I want it. I'm going to go with 9.5 and see what that looks like. And that's pretty slim, but not quite. So I'm just going to go up to 0.97. Let's take a look at that. Much better. So I'm going to take those two and align it center. And just so you can see how small I've got that, I'm going to make this one pink so that you can see that outside line. So I've got that aligned center, and I am going to slice. Remember, if you have more than 2 layers, you cannot slice. Let me get that bar out of the way. My window's a little too low when I went down there. There we go. So now I've got it sliced. I'm going to move this out. These are your trash pieces right there. And then I have that slender line. I could have probably bumped that up to 0.8. But as thin as you can get that line, the better. Okay? And it's not going to matter. It's going to cut, but you're really not going to have a whole lot of trash to throw away on that. And I'll show that to you here in just a moment. So I'm going to get another shape. I'm going to grab a square just for slicing purposes. And I am going to line up those crosshairs right on the edge of that. If you can see that, it's right on the edge of that square. I'm going to pick the two, and again, I'm going to slice it. And now I have a rounded cut line. Okay? Now I need to determine how big I want my window to be. And you can make this any size. That way you can have more room down at the bottom. Whatever you want for this, your window. You can make your window any size you want to make it. All right? So let me move that backward. Or move this stuff out of the way. Let's just scooch back. There it is. So now I have my score, and I'm just going to stretch it. Maybe, let's see, this is 4.25. I'm going to give it about a 1/2 inch at the top and a 1/2 inch at the bottom. So I'm going to make that 3.75. 3 3/4 inch. And enter. Oops, wrong piece. Do as I say, not as I do. Let me undo that. Is my undo not working? There it is. Let's grab the score line and let's make it 3.75. Points help. Because you're not going to get 375 inches out of your Cricut Design Space for sure. So now I have that window. Oops. I'm going by my width. I'm not thinking straight today. 625 is the length. Boo. Sorry about that, guys. 625 is the length. I want to make it a ½ inch shorter than that, so it's 5.75. I'm sorry. But there we go. That looks better. 575. So now I've got that in there, and I'm just going to give myself a little bit of an edge. Hi, Geraldine. And we're going to align that vertically. And here's a little trick that I do so that I can see, because the scores, they're hard to see where they end and begin. So I am going to change it to draw, okay, so that I can see where it starts and stops. And at the end, I'll bring it back. I'm going to take my second score line. I'm going to duplicate that. And, well, this is actually my cut line, and I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees. And this is the one that's going to need to be right about 375, but not quite, because we have our circled piece. Okay, so I'm going to bring it in and just lay it right there. I'm going to say that this needs to be right about 3.25. You can always change it. Nothing is written in stone yet. So I'm going to duplicate that, because I need one at the top and one at the bottom. Okay, and now that I have those, I'm going to select those two. I'm going to align them to the right. That's a very important step. Right or left, doesn't matter, but you need to align them and attach those two lines. Okay, that's what you should have. I'm going to bring this in, and I'm going to change it back to a score. I am going to select my score and those two lines. I am going to align left, because I want them on the left side. If you want your card to peekaboo to open the other way, put it on the right. Totally up to you. It's your window. And then I'm going to align it vertically, center it vertically, and then I'm going to attach those. So now I should have something that looks like this. Okay? I'm now going to take this piece, and that's a little too wide. I'm just going to unlock it, because I want to give myself space on this side, but you can see my blue line of my bounding box. I want it to be right about there with it, okay? And that's what I have. Got it lined up. So I'm going to take that and these pieces. I don't have the green piece selected. I've just got these three, and I am going to align to the right. Oops, no, I'm not. I forgot. I don't have my other lines in there yet. Let me undo that. It's where it needs to be, basically, at that point, because of my bounding box. That's right. I did it on my bounding box. So now I'm just going to select them, and I'm going to align, and we're going to center vertically. Now it's in the center, and I'm going to attach that. At this point, this is where this cut line comes in. You're going to line it up right here, and right below that, you're going to duplicate it. It should be the same or close to it for this side. Now you're going to take those two lines only. You're going to align them to the right or left, doesn't matter. And you're going to attach those. Then we're going to select everything, align, center them vertically, and attach. Now we can bring our peekaboo window over here onto this piece. I'm going to align it, center it horizontally, and I'm going to align and center it vertically, or you can do center, either one. I don't like that it's really wide over here, but it's okay. I am just going to select it, and I'm just going to bump it, even though that's true to where the center. I'm just going to bump it over to the right, just a tiny bit. Okay, just one bump, and all I did was select it and hit my arrow key on my keyboard to the right. One bump is all I did. Select them both and attach. Now you have your peekaboo window. So now you have your card base, you have your peekaboo window, and it is ready to go. And we're going to hit save and save our card base. Now every time I open this, I can come in here and I can add different elements to it, do a save as. I've got this card base ready to go. So you can name this maybe Peekaboo card base 5x7. And then the next thing you want to do is go and get your elements. So is everybody with me? We need to decorate our card. So the next thing you're going to do is go and search in images and find something that goes with the theme of your card. And again, I did this one as birthday. So I just went in and typed in birthday and I got some elements. Now here's the one that I used for writing, but there is a writing one of that. But I select several things that I like when I'm looking through here. And if you notice down here on the bottom, next to cancel and insert image, my images I select are going in there. So I am just selecting all the images that I think that I might want to use for this card so I don't have to keep going back and forth. And I am going to put some things in there. I kind of like that cake. Kind of like this too. So you can go and put in, here's a happy birthday friend, happy birthday here. Like if I wanted to put a banner on the front. I've already cut this card, but I'm going to do this one a little bit different just so you guys can see. There's the happy birthday that I used. Just different things. And I think I might want a banner if I do that other happy birthday. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to look for a banner. And that right there, that looks good to me. I'll select that one. It's down there. Let's see. Might want to use that one. I don't know. I like that one there too. We can separate that one. So I have some banners and now I want some balloons. Yes, you can go in, Patty, and it'll be just a little while and then it can come back up. But the peekaboo is real easy to make. Just a few score lines. Making your half circle cut is going to be the hardest part of that. So let's see which balloons. No, those are not the ones. I think these are the ones I used right here. But you can go in and get whatever you want on the balloons that you want to use. You can do print and cuts, tons of stuff. And then after I've done all my searching and got a ton of elements that I may want to use in my card because I can't make up my mind which balloons and things like that I want to use. So I'm just grabbing some stuff and then I'm going to insert it all. And it's going to take it a second to bring all of those elements in. Oh, you got distracted. It's super easy once you do it a couple times, Patty. So there's all the elements that I have to work with to make my card. So if you want to do yours in a balloon theme or you want to do it in an animal theme, if you're doing nursery cards, you can do that. So what I've done is I brought all of this stuff in that I might want to use. Okay? And because of the size of my window, my space here is kind of limited. But I could do it. I didn't bring in the one I actually used. But you can put happy birthday down here at the bottom and then put your balloons up here in the center. You're just going to shrink them down so that you have room. And so these, I know I want these balloons. And I'm going to say happy birthday on there. The next thing I want to do is line that happy birthday up and get it as much centered as I can. If you're having trouble centering, go in and get yourself a square. This is a super simple trick that I use even on this side of the card, and I'm going to show you that too. I'm going to unlock it, and I'm going to make it the same size as my little peekaboo window. I'm going to arrange. I've got it in place on the card, and I'm going to move it backwards. Okay? Let me move it backward again. I want it up under... it's going behind all of these things, so that it may look like it's not doing anything when you arrange, but it is. I'm just going to move it forward. It's going to be easier for me because it's going through all the layers of everything, all of these images. So now I've got my happy birthday that I'm going to write, and I've got that square, I am going to align it, and I'm going to center it horizontally. Now it's in place. I'm going to take that square, move it out of the way, and without moving that, I'm going to select it, select the green part of the card, which I'm grouped, so I have to ungroup. I'm not going to move anything, I'm just going to ungroup. Going to arrange and move all of that to the back. I'm just going to arrange and move it back forward. You just have to, you probably won't have to do all this arranging, but I had all these images in there. So I haven't moved anything. I've got them both there, and I'm going to attach that. Now that's not going to move, and I know that I've got it centered on my card. But I'm doing something on the inside of that card as well for my peekaboo. So I need to align these two pieces center. And I have to be careful of whatever I'm putting in there, that it stays in that window. And you can see that that's not to the front, but you can see my bounding box. So I know I got to make it a little bit smaller. Okay? Let's select align, center them, arrange. I'm going to send it to the back. It'll let me. Okay. I'm going to go over to my layers panel, and I'm going to select my balloon animal, and I'm going to arrange and move him to the front. How about that? Easier. So I know he's going to fit inside of there. So when I cut him, or if I want to flatten him for a print and cut, he needs to be in the right place. So if I want him down here and maybe holding a balloon, just whatever it is that you guys want to do, oops, I will learn to move my images where I want them before I do that move. One of these days. I think I accidentally deleted that piece. Align, center, arrange, move that to the front. It is good. So whatever you want to be on the inside, I'm not going to do this whole thing. I don't like him. So I'm going through my images, trying to decide what I like, what I don't like. Oh, cake. Let me arrange and move that to the front. I want to put a cake in there. So I'm going to bring that down. I want it to be in that window when it's open. So I'm going to make it a tiny bit smaller. And then I have room up here to decorate or write something, and then eat cake, which I forgot. So let's go over to images. And I'm going to look for eat cake. And I know it's in here somewhere. Like I said, these are not all the same images that I used. That we're doing in this one, but I'm getting, there it is. So I'm going to select that and bring that in. And I want that eat cake to be at the bottom. So I'm just going to kind of bring it in and size it. And that looks good, and you can center that up the same way. But now I want to take and move this out of the way. I'm going to select the eat cake. You don't want to align horizontally here. If you align horizontally here, it's going to be outside your window over here a little bit. You don't want to do that. You just placed it where it needed to be. And so we're going to select those, and we're going to attach. Now when they do that, when I cut my cake and put it in there, because what I'm going to do, when I cut, after I cut, I'm going to glue this to the front. This will be open, and my eat cake will show, and then I'll know where to place my cutout cake. And then I have my balloons to put on top as well. So the peekaboo part of our card is ready. So I'm going to send that to the front. So we have the front of the card, and then we have the inside of the card. I'm just going to put my cake back there. And I'm going to align all this. I just center it, and then I'm going to group it. That's my peekaboo element, and it's finished. I didn't need the banners. Now, if you had a smaller window up here, like a half window, you might want to put a banner on there. That's what those would be for. I just grab stuff while I'm doing my cards, any elements I think I might use or might look good, so I don't have to go back and forth. And then I've got a couple of happy birthdays to put on the inside of my card. Where do I want to put those and which one do I want to use? I looked at it. I looked at the front of my card and I like the one that has the balloon happy birthday. So that's the one I chose. So I got rid of everything else. Here is my sample piece. I'm going to come back and unlock that. My card is a 5x7. And I'm going to make that a 5x7. And I'm going to lock that back. I am going to take that. I'm going to align it. First of all, before I do that, I want to kind of size up how big I want that to be. And that's a pretty good size. So I'm happy with that. I'm going to leave it there. I am going to select my card and the gray square. I'm going to align to the top, align to the right. Then I'm going to unselect the two. I'm going to select my writing, going to select the gray card. I'm going to align, center it horizontally. It's where I want it. I want room down here to sign. I don't want it to be down here in the middle. And now I'm just going to select the gray square and get rid of it. I'm going to select my writing and attach. So now that I know when I fold my card that's going to be in the center, it's going to be ready to go. And the only thing left to do is to search Design Space and bring yourself in an envelope for your card. Did everybody follow along? Does anybody have any questions on how to design a card from scratch, going and searching your images, any of that thing, anything like that, anything at all? Or if you have, yes, Sue, that base is saved for supporters only. This base is not, but there is one. There's the Peekaboo card is already posted up. I posted it up yesterday for them. So if you have questions on how to do any of the elements that we did, just let me know and we'll repeat those for you. Does anybody have any questions on anything in Design Space that's not working for you, or you don't understand attach, weld, slice, contour, anything like that? Ask away. We're happy to help you with those. Okay, I'm going to switch back over to the overhead and we're going to put one of these together really quick. Now I added some embellishments to mine and I'm going to show you guys how you can do that too, because just designing it is not where it ends. You want to come in and do some elements. And I did this one pretty basic, but just because I was in a hurry. But I took some of my extras, like the extra I put in here. I didn't take the time, but for the ones I'm putting together for you guys, I did. I ran this through my Cuttlebug, got a little bit of embossing on it, got some extras here. You don't use everything that cuts, but you don't want to throw anything away. So I have all of my element here. And when you cut your elements, guys, this was just 2 pieces, and I really wanted to show that to you guys, how to fix that. I couldn't contour it to get a shape behind it so that it would pop up, because the top of this was pink and the background was pink and you couldn't see it. So how did I get my white image? Let me go back over and show you guys how to do that in case you have an image that does not have a shadow layer, and how to fix that. So let me see if I can find that cake. Yeah, I have a time. There is and there isn't, Patty. It just takes a lot of practice and working with it. Somebody may have some tips and tricks. I don't burnish mine really hard. I just flip my paper backing. I put my transfer tape on and I flip mine over and I remove the paper from the vinyl and the transfer tape so that I can rock it back and forth and kind of push at that vinyl and make sure that it stays on that transfer tape. And and then I transfer it over to my project. I don't try to make mine stick really strong to my transfer tape. I guess that's what I'm saying. I try to make mine just stick to it just good enough. Just good enough. So I don't have a whole lot of trouble with it. I don't really use, I'll just be honest, I don't use a whole lot of Cricut glitter vinyl. I like it. It's pretty. But usually when I do mine are for outdoor purposes. And so I use, who is it? I have to look. It's from Brilliant Vinyl. I use the glitter vinyl from there because it's smooth like an outdoor vinyl, and it's a really strong grip, but it is super hard to cut and weed. I'm just going to say that. What I use is really hard to weed. It's hard to do anything with. It transfers beautifully, but weeding is a pain. StyleTech, that's what I was trying to think of. It's StyleTech from Brilliant Vinyl is what I use when I use glitter. Now, if I'm doing something indoor and stuff like that, where it doesn't really matter, or on a kid's gift or on a card, I do use the Cricut. But for cups and things like that, if I'm doing epoxy cups, the StyleTech works better for me for that purpose. And it's strictly how you're using it as to which one you would want to use. So this is the cake I used right here. So any of these would work. But you can see that none of these have a shadow layer. Okay? And I needed a shadow layer to be in there because this was the same color as my backing. I'm going to go over Color Sync here and change that just so it all is the same color. Just so we can see how that goes. And I made that gold. I think I made that teal. There we go. So that's basically what I did, is I made everything match up. And when I open up my peekaboo card, these little sparkles here and the top of the cake are the same color as the base. On the front of the card, it's not really a problem because you have this white outline on my balloons. So I didn't have that problem. So what I did is I came in and I ungrouped it, which is going to ungroup it to colors. So that really didn't help me. So I'm just going to duplicate it, and I'm going to bring one down, and I'm got it ungrouped, and I'm going to come over here to contour, and I'm going to hide the sparkles and the candle part of it. What I'm not removing it, I'm removing the cut lines. When you use, this piece can stay, when you use contour, you're removing cut lines. So I don't want these two cut lines. I just want these pieces right here. So what I did is I got them like I wanted them, and I welded them together. Well, I still have that space inside, and you can come in and you can contour, but you can still only contour the top off or the bottom off. And that's because these pieces have a line, cutout line through the middle of them, and there's no connection whatsoever. Okay, so you can come in and you can get a shape, and I don't want that to be all blocky and square, so I'm just going to get a circle. I'm going to grab that circle. I'm just going to unlock it. And I just want to get it right up over to that edge where that's at. I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to put in another one. It doesn't matter how small, just as long as you've covered in that line. I'm going to select the 2 or the 3 and weld. And now I don't even care about these little cutouts because I'm going to select it, go to contour and hide all contours, and give myself that solid shape. Then I can change that shape, oops, to white. My mouse bumped the edge of my desk. And now I can place this. I can even get rid of that. Don't need that. I can make this just a teeny tiny bigger, arrange it, send it to the back, and I have a little bitty white outline for that image to go on my card so that it will make it pop out and not blend in with the background. And you can play with it, make it as big or as small as you want it. And I just needed it to be small. I didn't need it to be anything major. And that's how you can do that to make those shadow layers. They are not true shadow layers, but they will shadow it and give you that appearance of a shadow layer. Okay, did everybody follow that? Super easy, super simple. And I did have a request from a member, so I'm going to go ahead and do a new project and show you that. They were trying to do what is called a knockout. And guys, you can do a knockout. I'm just going to do a T on this. Let's just do a K. Theirs was a K. You can do your knockouts, but they won't always be true knockouts. I did a video on this last year. It may have been 2 years ago. I don't know. On how to do the I Love Glitter font, where you can layer them up and weld them together and get a little bit thicker. I'm going to go with impact. Get a little bit thicker lines so that you can do this. But with some things like this K, it's a little bit easier to do this a different way. So I've got my K there for the back, and then let's get some text for the last name. And I believe it was Knowles. I could have that wrong. If I do, I apologize. And I want a cursive font for this. And I know that Magnolia Sky is an easy one, so I'm just going to grab that. And then I'm going to line space it together. I'm sorry, letter space it together. I said line space and went there, I meant. So now I've got it where all my letters are touching. This one's a little bit off. So I am going to bump it down one more time. Select it and weld. Okay, if anything fills in, that means the tail of that letter is inside that letter. You need to back it off a little bit. You may have to ungroup it to letters in order to do that, and then weld. But you do want to weld this piece. Now, if I want that to cut out of there, right there, I can do that. But if you attach that, it's going to cut out of there, but the K is also going to cut out of the last name, the Knowles. So you want to duplicate that and hold one to the side. And then you're going to select both of these once you have it where you want it, and you've aligned it, centered it horizontally, all that kind of stuff, and you've sliced. Now you are left with this. This is all trash, and this is exactly how it would cut if you attached it, okay? And then you want to split this up. So how do you do that? I think I got it on there right. I'm going to make sure that it went through. I think it did. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this a couple of times. And I'm going to come over to contour again, and we're going to get rid of the bottom half. Okay? And I'm going to get rid of that little tail piece there. Right there. Going to get rid of those. Then I'm going to come over to the other one, and I'm going to contour it. I'm going to get rid of that bottom half, and then that little piece there. Oops, I did the same pieces. I meant the top half. Oh, let me just start over with that one. I messed up. Contour, get rid of the top on this one. There we go. What is it doing? Maybe my internet? I want that bottom half. There we go. Finally. And I want to get rid of these two small pieces here, just like I did on the other one. Now I have this. I want to get rid of these trash pieces up here too for now. You want to just basically get rid of all of those little bitty trash pieces. I left some on this one. Still got one. Oops. There we go. So now I have that basically almost ready to go. I'm going to bring my Knowles in here. If I can figure out where I cut it. There we go. Oh, missing a step. I forgot to layer them and slice it. But that's okay. I'm just still gonna kind of stretch these just a little bit. Maybe that will work. Unlock it. I'm gonna skew it just a little bit more. That should do it. Like I said, you can't get a true one without, yeah, this, I picked the wrong fonts for this, but you basically get it. You're going to have to give yourself a little bit of space there, and then you can weld these back together and give you that knockout effect. Again, with your cursives, with print, it's a lot easier, but with cursives, you really need to use Sure Cuts a Lot. Our original way of doing this, that's not going to work. I have to get another K. Our original way of doing this with the PDF and all that stopped working. And that's what I show in my video that's a couple years old. But if you bring these in, I'm just going to duplicate one more time. Bring these in and lay them almost right on top of each other. Like so, just kind of skewing them about. This was a step I left out before I sliced out of my K. There you go. And weld that, then slice this from the K. This one will fit in there a lot better than what mine was fitting. Let me arrange and move that to the front so you can see. Because it's going to give you more space. You can see where it gives that little outline there. That's how you're going to do that. That black one is the one you're going to slice from the K, and then you're going to slide that white one in there. So, super easy to do. And sometimes I like to give myself just a little bit more room. So, let me just impact. And I do apologize. I forgot who asked about that. I'm going to bring that in. I'm going to bring this one in. I'm going to, that's my original. I'm going to line, center it horizontally. I'm going to slice it. There we go. You can see how much thicker that one is. Get rid of all that trash. Let's make this a color we can see. And now you have that little bit of space in there. So that it gives you that knockout appearance. Okay? So if you don't have Sure Cuts a Lot, or you don't want to get Sure Cuts a Lot, Sure Cuts a Lot is super easy to use. You can make that shadow layer. It's perfect. You can give it more gap, all of that stuff. Then this is a workaround. And again, you can contour it out and separate the two pieces and bump them down just a tiny bit and give you a little bit more room than what this gives you. Or you can keep building up with the duplicates on there and give yourself a little bit wider space. Yes, Sure Cuts a Lot will save you a ton of time. Tons of time. Super easy. So if you have, does anybody have any more questions on that? Let's see if I can get Sure Cuts a Lot to pop up. I'm not going to go through the whole step. I'm just going to show you guys how to do it, how quick a shadow layer is in Design Space. I mean in Sure Cuts a Lot. So I'm going to go to New Project, say OK. I would go to my text. I would type a letter K. I would select the impact font. Oops. Select the impact font and then type the letter K. And then, and let's see, let's make that Magnolia. I did it again, didn't I? And then I'm going to go up to my select. I'm going to get rid of this because I did those backwards. I'm going to hold my Shift K and stretch my impact letter. Don't need it that big. I'm going to stretch this out just a little bit. I'm going to right click on it. I'm going to Appearance. I'm going to add a shadow layer. I'm going to tell it how thick I want that shadow layer. Maybe a little bit thicker. I'm going to say 75. And now I've got my shadow layer. I'm going to take that. I am going to bring it down where I want it. I'm going to select both of them, go to Path, and I want the front minus the back. And now I can change this to whatever color I need it. Slide it in there, and I'm done. Super simple, super easy if you're using Escal, and all you have to do at that point is go to File, Export, and it'll pop up SVG. You can name it, save it, check that it is marked for Design Space, say OK. Now it's on my desktop. All I have to do is upload it into Design Space. No, I don't want to. I left my E out of Knowles, but that's okay. And now it's ready to go. And you can see the difference. Big difference in how that one plays out. Alright guys, so if anybody has any questions and you forgot to ask, or you think of something later, don't hesitate to come to the Facebook group and ask. We're there to help everybody. If you have a project idea, anything like that, please don't hesitate to tell us what you want to see. We're here to do that for you. I'm reading comments. The Kmart K on a diet. She's so funny. Alright, I want to say thank you to my moderators. Thank you Patreon and Ko-fi supporters. Thank you to all my viewers. Please like, subscribe, give a thumbs up. Please, please, please. Don't forget to ask your questions on the video. If you need to ask them there, that's fine too. If you don't want to come to the group, it may take me longer to get to you, but I will answer you eventually. And we'll see you guys, I believe our next, let me double check this. If I can find my calendar. I lost my calendar. Next live is Thursday, and I have a treat for you guys. I forgot to show you. Some of you guys have makers, some of you have Explore machines. If you have an Explore machine, I'm going to show you how you can do the acrylic and the light bases. Let me go. I finally wrote down and got the light base. I have the light base here and the remotes. If you guys want the links for those. I did get the 2-pack that I've been posting in the group. It does come with a piece of acrylic, but it's very, very, very thick. I don't believe that this will fit. I know it won't fit to engrave on the maker, but I have a workaround. And I'm going to be showing that to you, and it won't matter if you have a maker or you have an Explore machine. You can do these crafts too. Okay, so all of these light bases you guys are seeing and saying, I wish I had a maker, I wish I had gotten the maker. Guys, you can still create these. And I'm going to show you how on Thursday. So make sure that you're subscribed so you don't miss that. And I'll see you then. You guys have a wonderful night. Thanks for joining me.